Hey everyone, this is S.M. Pratt, and today we're going to answer the question for 2019, will Detective Pikachu have any effect on the market? People have been steady asking me this since the trailer dropped and now the movie's out, so we're going to talk about it. In my opinion, I'm sure there'll be some effect on the market. I'm sure some people will come back in and buy the cards they left in the late 90s, early 2000s, but will it make your casual $100 purchase into a $1,000 item? Absolutely not. So sorry for all the mid 20s investors cycling through $1,000 a month with their diversified crypto portfolios who think the market is based on emotional relativism and hype. This won't satisfy that delusion. This isn't going to be a fix-all, and it's not going to increase everything across the board. It's not going to be Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go wasn't even Pokemon Go. And that's what we're going to get into. We're going to talk about what Detective Pikachu really is for market, why organic traffic helps stimulate the market in a good, nice, organic way. So ultimately what Detective Pikachu is at the end of the day is organic traffic. An easy way to summarize this is Pokemon or any company, any franchise, anybody is throwing an advertisement out there, and if it sticks, if it works, if people enjoy it, they go down the rabbit hole. They're like, oh, I saw this movie or this video game or this conveniently placed article right here, this conveniently placed magazine. I saw that, and now I'm going to go through the rabbit hole and look up all these cards that I collected back in the day. That's how it works. And I'm going to be listening to some guy on YouTube talk about Pokemon in the market. That's what organic traffic is. It's just throwing something out there. Does it generate some interest, and will people, continue to investigate in that interest? That's it at the end of the day. That's all these companies are doing. That's all any brand or franchise is doing, and it's up to the consumer what they want to do with that advertisement. So, when people talk about Detective Pikachu as if it's going to be this miracle worker for their average purchases and turning them into these spectacular outcomes, that'll never be a thing, and that's something you don't want. You don't want anything like to work that way. You don't want let's just make a really good ad and all of a sudden cards will be $1,000. And that's why I said earlier Pokemon Go wasn't even Pokemon Go, because people genuinely thought that's what happened. People thought, oh, all these people here from Pokemon Go are just doing it wrong. I'm so pure with my collection because I was here before Pokemon Go, and that person who grew up enjoying the same cards as me is inferior because they came in after Pokemon Go. So at the end of the day, it's just a form of advertisement. Why Pokemon Go was so successful is because it reached perhaps the largest, I think, audience, demographic, market ever. I can't think of an advertisement. I mean, seriously, if you go through like a local restaurant's like Facebook page, like scroll back to like the mid 2016, like summer 2016 photos, you'll probably see like, Pikachu sitting in, the deep fryer or something. You'll see like Venonat chilling in like an appetizer or something, because everybody was doing Pokemon Go then. I mean, it just hit everybody. So therefore, when you have that massive exposure, you're probably going to have a larger reentry. So that's what Pokemon Go was in a nutshell. Again, very successful organic traffic. It's what you want to see for the hobby. And also, more specifically, when people talk about the effect that something has on a market. I think one of the other things I'm going to talk about later, like the state of where we are right now in Pokemon in general, I think a lot of people think in immediacy, short term right now. Everybody is like, oh, I just got into there's a lot of people getting into their career. There's a lot of people earning new money, buying their first home, buying their first car. Some people having their first kid, doing these first edition. We're just in this first situation right now. So we're in a very fresh, new, established market. And I think Pokemon Go is like the beginning of the establishment era. If you want to mark a little notch there in the timeline, I think it's a very good point in time to start with. It really established Pokemon as a true collectible. It woke up PSA and SMR. Let me see if I can put this back a little bit better this time. It woke up all these other companies and just interest across the board that wasn't there, because before it was so insulated. But that effect took time. It wasn't immediate. I think I've talked about this in Patreon. Even my hypothesis for Detective Pikachu was it'll take time. It'll probably have an incremental effect. And that's how this usually works. With Pokemon Go, I experienced an uptick in frequency of sales probably 3 to 6 months out. It wasn't immediate. I remember I was in Minnesota, I think, visiting a cousin here from Italy, and I remember just waking up and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of Charizard base and Naked Pikachu selling all of a sudden, all these cards from that original era. And that was 3 to 6 months down the road. It wasn't immediate. And again, this is what you want. For an organic situation, it's right in line with that process of, hey, I saw this movie, I played this game, I saw this advertisement, and I went down the rabbit hole and, Googled these cards, and here I am buying them now. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see this immediacy. Everybody is so impatient right now, again, because we're in this first stage. We're just getting our feet wet. I had to bust out the Poliwags again. We're just newborn in the market right now. So, therefore, this probably won't be immediate. It's definitely not going to be as big as Pokemon Go. I don't think anything can ever capture what Pokemon Go did. If anything, I was just dumbfounded by how massive Pokemon Go was. It's the closest thing I've ever experienced for anyone who wasn't around during like 98, 99. For anyone who didn't experience that, that was the closest experience. We're talking like right there within inches. It was just so close to that experience because back in the 90s, it was a phenomenon. Pokemon Go was a phenomenon. It's really hard to capture that. So that's what I expect with Detective Pikachu. It's going to be just another organic traffic situation. I did an interview recently with, it was just a basic rundown on the same scenario, people coming back into the game. And I tried to work with them to give them a nice breakdown on what to expect because so many people always ask, hey, I just found my collection. I have a PSA 10 versus your Charizard. I have a trophy card or whatever. It's like, no, you don't. There's no way you have that unless you were doing this seriously back then, so I did, just this article with them and I'm sure that'll have a little effect as well. I'm sure I'll get an email from someone or a couple emails. Hey, saw this article. I have these cards, etc. It happens every day for me, probably almost every hour at this point. So that's just where we are. That's the current state for the market. So segueing into that, I wanted to touch on where we are right now in the markets. Just do kind of like a middle of the year, second quarter update, 2009 superficial update on what's going on, the pulse, the action of everything. Pokemon is so fresh right now. I said Poliwag, like basic Pokemon. I think we're baby Pokemon. I think baby Pokemon is a better term for where we are. I was like, yeah, maybe we're like, basic Pokemon. No, I think we're even a step back. Like maybe even Mysterious Fossil Clefairy Doll is where we are right now. I mean, we're just right in it, like the first stage. Like the light is very bright. We're still figuring out basic economics. We're still figuring out that it takes time for everything. Everything takes time in life. It can't just happen in 1 month. There's so many people cycling through all of their inventory in like 3 to 6 months and all of their like $1,000 in 3 to 6 months. So we are very fresh. It's all new. For people who are scared about prices now, don't look in 5 to 10 years, at the really rare stuff. I doubt it's going to be any better. For the people who think the first edition base box or illustrators or all this stuff that you can't find consistently, I just think people are going to probably follow the same trend that all other hobbies and markets do in the past 100 years, where they keep making more consumer income. So that's something I want to harp on, is that we're just getting started. Like that classic cliche you hear in the movies. Like we seriously are just getting started. Like this is the beginning of the market. We are nowhere near like even Magic the Gathering, who I think is still very young and fresh. We're nowhere near even Magic. And Magic's still young. They're modern. Not even close to sports. Not even close to like numismatics or like, artwork and things like that. Like we're one side of the timeline and, that art and stuff is the other. But a few things I wanted to harp on here or reiterate. The market is heavily optimized for anything short term. You can't casually buy things like you used to and casually flip them like you used to because everybody and their dog is doing that. Take it from me. I'm one data point. I'm one, again, talk about organic traffic. I'm one branch of the market. I'm one little perspective of the market. And from that little sperm of the sperm whale perspective, I get messages daily. If I log onto my Instagram right now, I guarantee I have anywhere from 5 to 10 new requests. Range of people asking me, hey, what's this worth? Hey, will you buy my card? I had someone try to sell me my Illustrator, literally from the picture right here, from the video. So you have such a range of people now in the game. It used to just be collector, business, and we're all so pure. But now there's so many different types of people. Everybody's trying to sell. Everybody's trying to hustle. So what's that doing? It's thinning out that opportunity in the short term. The only way to be successful here is long-term focus. And more importantly, that's what actual investing is. You know, what investing is, in like a general example, is someone who's working a job and they take some of the money, throw it into whatever it is, stocks, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do in your portfolio, crypto for all the big brain people out there who can't ever tell you why crypto's going up or down, but you know, they are throwing all their money into it. You know, for Pokemon, whatever you're putting your money into, you do it over time. And that's one of the things I wanted to end with here is that, you know, one of my earliest videos was how to invest in Pokemon. And if I had to redo that today for the market, it would just be get a job, buy cards, buy what you like on the side. And if you want some type of general rubric or safeguard, the older the rare, the minter, the better. Not the best, not the guaranteed 100% profit, because nothing in life is ever guaranteed. It's the older the rare, the minter, the better, because what does that do? It eliminates risk. When I go and buy the played Time Walk that I bought recently, Alpha Time Walk, when I go and buy, you know, something like a new trophy card, whether it's played old or gem mint, whatever it is, older, whatever it is, it's like all you're doing is eliminating that risk. You're not guaranteeing anything, you know? So that's what people need to understand, is that there is a heavy disillusioned entitlement to buying something and expecting everything to go up. That's why I said, you know, you're not always going to win. But more importantly, older, rare, mint, or better is just a suggestion. You know, it's just a way to minimize risk. Time is the only way anything can grow. Time equals growth. You need time. You need to be patient to navigate time. I mean, again, if people romanticize me and what I've done, I'm just one person. If you look at all of these people in hobbies who are similar to me, whether it's magic, you know, coin collecting, baseball, artwork, anything, whatever it is, patience is going to pay off in the long term. You know, you're not going to win everything. You're not going to buy at the lowest and sell at the highest. That's impossible. Even Warren Buffett didn't do that. But all this stuff takes time. Every investment takes time. Every growth takes time. And more importantly, I think, you know, appreciation needs to be more of the focus now. That's what I'll end with, is that people are too lost in the day-to-day, like, ruminating of cutting costs. You know, everyone's like, oh, is this the best time to buy? Is it cheap now? Is it a buyer's market now? It's like, that mentality is never going to get you anywhere. You know, like the Time Walk that I mentioned. I mentioned this in Patreon. I bought a played Alpha Time Walk for $6,000. I remember watching that thing in PSA 10, like a few years ago. I remember sitting there in Florida looking at my phone, watching it, and I was like, I just don't really feel like being time. It just didn't feel right. The time wasn't right for me. And now a played copy is worth $6,000, and that's what I paid today. I could have bought it a few years ago in gem mint condition for less. I could have bought it 10 years ago for even a fraction of that price, but I didn't. So today, you pay market value. I didn't sit there and pick pedals like, oh, is it the best time to buy? Is it whatever? That mentality is not going to get you where you need to go long term. You're just going to go in circles with that. I'm sure there's someone who's like, oh, no, I started with $100 and now I'm at $1,000, a whopping $1,000. Yeah, the business is rolling capital. The businesses in a small emerging market that we're in right now, they are spending $100,000 monthly on their product, on their DA Cardboard. Again, another Patreon freebie right here. DA Cardboard stated that they spent $39 million last year on collection buyouts alone. So when people are sitting here, you know, trying to pick pedals and figure out if their Poliwag's going to go to $1,000 in 3 weeks, it's not going to happen. Detective Pikachu's not going to make it happen. Pokemon Go's not going to make it happen. It's just not a thing. If you're not taking big risks, you're not going to get big pay. You know, you're not going to get a big reward. If you're going out there with the old rod, throwing it out there, thinking you're going to get the level 100 shining magic card, that's not how this works. It's not how any market works. And if you do that, it's an exception. It's not a business model. It's not sustainable. And there you go. That's what I have. Detective Pikachu is yet another organic traffic. This market is newborn. It is all fresh. We have a long way to go. That doesn't mean prices will just keep going up. There's going to be peaks and valleys along the way. Some cards might die. Some might, you know, be very boring and not move. Some might explode. Some might have incremental growth. That's why this is all fun. That's why it's all exciting to be engaged, because you can just get a better experience, get a better, you know, impression and everything. But again, no guarantees. There you go, guys. That's what I have on Detective Pikachu. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're one of those genius investors who are just cycling through everything every second already. You probably sold 5 things during this video. But let me know what you think. And that is pretty much it. Until next time.